Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Tylarious, aka Ty Killington. Yeah, man. All right, today's video, we will be talking about the future of the Sparrow in GTA Online. If you don't know, Rockstar had released a little bit of information, a teaser about increasing the armor and defensive capabilities of several vehicles, the Bombushka, and then, of course, the Sparrow. Now, I want to focus on the Sparrow in today's video because, you know, as a money grinder and a, dedicated player, this is one of the more important vehicles in the game. So I want to talk to you guys about how, what I think these armament upgrades and defensive capability upgrades are going to look like, what they're going to do. Okay, and I also want you guys to tell me, what do you think Rockstar is going to do to increase the defensive capabilities and the armament capabilities of the Sparrow as well? All right? So real quick, this is from Rockstar. This is on the newswire, and they're talking about how buffing defensive and armor capabilities for the Sparrow and Bombushka and more. Okay, so we could see several vehicles. Now, this could also be, and this is something I'm worried about, this could be basically just a attempt to fix a few things with the Sparrow, and a lot of times when Rockstar does that, they one step forward, two steps back. So we might end up getting something that's not as good as what we had before, and their attempts to make it better, right? So that does happen sometimes. But the Sparrow is easily one of the top vehicles in the game. It is a must-own vehicle. You definitely need to have it. I would say it's at the worst a top 5 vehicle, probably top 3. In my opinion, and it's a very good vehicle. Plus, a lot of folks that don't like to use the Mark II, this is a great alternative. So, getting this information is very intriguing from Rockstar about how they're going to buff this vehicle. Right now, the biggest complaint for me are the landing skids on the Sparrow. All right, or one of the biggest complaints. The landing skids are so rigid. Basically, every time you land the Sparrow, I mean, unless you are just absolutely extremely gingerly in your landing, you will take on damage. And eventually, as you see right here, the engine starts to smoke and you lose power and the chopper's on the way out. Now, of course, all aerial vehicles have an issue if you land too hard on the ground, right? I get that. I totally understand. But it's way too much on the Sparrow. If you look at the Buzzard right here, the landing skids, they flex. And a lot of the other choppers, it's the same way. So you can kind of have a little bit rougher landing. Now, of course, if you land too hard, the Buzzard will take on damage as well, and the engine will start to smoke. I get that. But as you see right here, it's just much more forgiving. And you can actually land the Buzzard and take little to no damage at all, right? So if Rockstar is deciding to buff up this vehicle, they need to increase. If they can't fix the skids, they can just turn up the damage, abuse that this vehicle can take. You can just turn it up. It could probably double it or whatever. And that'll also just give it basic armament protection against small arms and even explosives as well. So I think that this right here, this one thing, just fixing the ability of the Sparrow to land more aggressively will go a long way. It really will. Many people also forget about the Sea Sparrow. The Sea Sparrow has been in the game for a long time as well. Everybody had high hopes for this vehicle, but because you cannot call it in like the Buzzard or the Sparrow, basically just to spawn right outside of where you're at, the Sea Sparrow never got a lot of use. Plus, the Sea Sparrow, if you are in the water with it and you try to swim towards it, it just floats away. It's ridiculous. It's so annoying. So I would hope that they would add the same kind of armament and defensive capabilities to the Sea Sparrow as they do the standard Sparrow. All right. Now let's talk about a few more options that I think are very likely with the Sparrow in regard to the buffs. First, they could add offensive capabilities. Now you can only have rockets or machine guns, not both. So they could add both to the Sparrow itself, and they could even change the profile of the machine gun. They could add explosive ammo to the Sparrow. That would make it much more viable. That would make it much more useful for the machine guns, and having dual options would be fantastic. They could increase the speed of the rockets as well on the Sparrow, which would make it much better overall. And then they could also add something kind of like a Monty Tech to the Sparrow, where there is a homing rocket, lock-on jammer. You know, that goes above and beyond the countermeasures of just flare and chaff. If you just can't lock onto it, that would force you to actually have to go up and manually, analog style, take out the Sparrow, right? It'd be nice if they could also make it to where you can't lock on with the orbital cannon. You know, the same kind of concept. Rockstar could also add a stealth feature. I'm not sure how that would actually implement. Like, for example, with the Raiju and the Akula, you know, you have to be able to go into a non-lethal mode, right? You have to basically go into a hybrid passive mode for your stealth, you know, capabilities to be engaged. Or for with the Ultra Glide, you have to be going at a certain speed, right? So that way you'd be off the radar. Then when you want to go into offensive mode, you pop back up on the radar. So I'm not sure how that would work, but that's a possibility as well. And like I said earlier, Rockstar could just buff up the amount of damage that the chopper can take, the Sparrow can take. So it's just more difficult for small arms or for explosive sniper rounds to drop you out. They could also make the glass bullet resistant also. You know, what if they added a physical armor upgrade similar to the Amani Tech, or make it look more like a armored Kuruma, right? Where you have like metal panels over everything, and the chopper has to get an engine upgrade. But yeah, and all these upgrades could simply be purchased through either the Kasaka submarine, where you store the Sparrow, through the website. Maybe you take the Sparrow into your hangar, right, and you can upgrade it there as well. There's several possibilities in that regard. But those are some of the ways that I think they could increase, and some of the ways that they should increase not only the armor capabilities, but the defensive capabilities with the Sparrow as well. All right, so I'm curious. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do these sound like good changes, what I've recommended? What else would you add? What would you do to make the Sparrow better? Right? So thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel for the illest and realest content in the game. Smash that like button. We'll see you guys in the next video. All right, peace out. Yeah.